Blog Talk Radio.
From Winston-Salem, it's Sunday Night Dead. I'm the world's most interesting zombie. I don't always listen to internet radio. I'm usually having friends over for dinner. But when I do, I listen to Sunday Night Dead with my good friend Matt. Stay hungry, my friends.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Night Dead. This is Matthew Slozer from Paranormal Paranormal in beautiful Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Hope you all had a great weekend. Thank you so much for closing it out with us tonight. We have a great show lined up for you this evening. We have a team out of Canada. I think we've had, we were just talking earlier tonight, I think we've had some callers from Canada, and I know that there's been a lot of, I see a lot of teams out there from up there, but I do believe this is our first official guest from north of the border, so very interested in talking to them, the Ontario Paranormal Inquest Society, and so we'll be speaking with them this evening, and just getting ready to kind of, as we transition into October here, and Halloween season. I'm actually got a good jump on it this weekend. I got my stuff up. I'm one of the only ones in the neighborhood so far, so and it's kind of funny around here anyway because some people don't put anything up, so I'm sure some people think I'm a freak. But anyway, here is my co-host this evening from Emerald Coast Paranormal Concepts, Mr. Tracy Todd. How you doing tonight?
I am founder of the frogs there, Matt, and you?
Doing great. Ken Szymanski was going to join us as well, but he's on he's been working on a pretty wild case from what I've been able to understand here. So he's still working in that situation. So hopefully we will have Ken back soon. And
cool.
Also, anyone in the chat room, if you're having trouble logging in tonight, let me know. I mean, we need to do our little play our little orb song here just to get things going, because I think it looks like some people are having some trouble getting into the chat tonight again. What the heck, I'll just go ahead and start it. Anyone who doesn't know, for whatever reason, and it is really dumb how often this works, technical difficulties do happen on this show, and we blame our ongoing battle with the orbs, but when I give them their 10 seconds of airtime here, the issues seem to go away. So let's see if this resolves our chat login issues. Here we go. All right, so hopefully that'll work, and the trouble will be alleviated for those of you trying to get into the chat room this evening. So what's going on with you, Tracy?
Oh, nothing much, man. Hanging out.
Well, I am very much looking forward to. I will actually be down in Florida in November, so I'm very much looking forward to getting down there. I'm hoping it dries out a little bit. You guys still getting all that rain?
It's actually slacked off quite a bit, but places are still flooded.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely.
Where are you going?
We go down to Disney a lot, and we've actually gone with the kids most of the time, but it's my 20th anniversary at the end of October, so for our anniversary, it's just my wife and I are going to go down and do the Disney thing, and I think we're going to do St. Augustine Lighthouse, not as a investigation, but just as kind of a touristy thing, and the San Marco Fort, which I've been in there before, but check that out again, and just hit some places on the way down, and then just kind of hang out at
cool.
Disney World. Yeah, it's
when you go down there, do you tell them that you're there for your anniversary?
Yeah, we usually do, and so you get the whole.
Yeah, Susan and I did that one year, and they gave us a little button and said it's our anniversary. Oh my God, was people so irritating! Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary!
Yeah, they're supposed to say it if you wear the button, so you can always hide the button though. But yeah, it's we go down there fairly often, so it's
You gonna hook up with George anytime while you're down there? Or?
I'm working on possibly getting to do a return to Kerr City, so I'm hoping to, particularly with all the weird things we had happen last time when we were down there. It looks like it could be a good possibility, but we'll see. A lot could depend on weather as well.
Yeah.
But we'll probably do another show on that regardless. Cause that was just about a year ago when we were there and had some very, very bizarre things happen at that location. So it's probably worth going ahead and covering that again.
Oh, sure.
Well, let me bring on our guests this evening. They are from Ontario, and let's bring in Jackie from Ontario Paranormal Inquest Society.
Yep.
Jackie, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, and was somebody else with you, or is there someone else calling in? I wasn't sure.
Yep, I have Kelly with me.
Oh, hi,
Hello.
Kelly.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Well, I guess first of all, why don't you tell our listeners just a little bit about your team and kind of how you all got started in this and how you got together as a team.
I founded the group in about a year ago, actually over a year ago now, in July. And I actually had 2 co-founders, and they're both gone now, so it's just me running it solo. I met Kelly and her daughter Ashley. They used to be with another group, and they decided to join me, and picked up a couple other members along the way. There's Ashley, who is Kelly's daughter. There is April, Tina, who is actually supposed to be on with me but can't make it, Caitlin, and I think Adrian now.
Adrian, yep.
Yeah. So
our newest member is Adrian, yep.
Yeah.
Very recent.
Yeah. I don't think she actually knows that yet. Surprise, Adrian, if you're listening.
Well, that sounds fun. That we have a kind of a similar history then, because kind of how I got going with Autumn Moon. I joined another group in the area. It was kind of splitting off, and they wanted to form another group, and so I kind of joined in with them. Prior to that, I was just kind of doing historic locations, just doing research on my own in some of these public places, and got that going. And then about a year in, the people who kind of founded it with me stopped investigating anymore, and so I just kind of took the team and have been adding people slowly as I go here. I'm not a big fan of having gigantic teams, and it's been very, very interesting. So I can certainly relate. So what got you interested? Well, I guess we'll start with Jackie first. What got you interested in this? I know some people have stories of past experiences, or what motivated you to start investigating?
When I was a child, I used to see spirits, and I was actually very terrified of it for a very long time. And then I ended up blocking it out. And at about 16, it came back into full force, and I guess I've just been searching for answers ever since then. Oh, wow. I actually thought I was crazy for a while, but when I started researching the paranormal more, I realized that there's a lot more people out there that have experienced the same things I have. So that was kind of a comfort, and then I just ran with it from there because I'm just interested in answers.
Now, when you said you see spirits, how were you perceiving them? How were you seeing them? Were they looking just like you and me, or how are you perceiving these spirits?
All right. Usually they come to me in my dreams. I'm able to more or less, how can I say it, have a dream about something that's happened in the past, and the spirits come to me that way. So,
okay.
They just show up like, sometimes, for example, there's this one guy that keeps coming to me, and he looks dead. He's got sunken in eyes, sharp features, a sharp nose. I can't figure out what he wants, but he's been bugging me for about 6 months now, periodically in my dreams. So other times they just look like us. Like my grandmother came to me. She came to me when I sat at the end of my bed. I was able to describe everything that she wore when she died, or what she was buried in, I'm sorry. And I wouldn't know because I was one when she passed away, and I wasn't able to go to the funeral. There's a spirit boy who came to me, came to me a couple times now, and he just looks like a normal kid. So, and then you wake up and you're like, yeah, that really just happened.
Now, has that increased or changed at all since you started investigating these experiences?
I would say it comes and it goes. If I have a lot of stress in my life, it will subside for a while, and then when my mind is open again, they will come back to me. So when I started investigating, it was like an influx of visions that started coming to me here and there. But I'm actually I worked with 2 mediums now who have helped me to focus, ground myself when I go into places, so they don't bother me. Does that make sense? I lost where I was going.
Yeah. Any any experiences? Everyone's always or I shouldn't say everyone, when you talk to people that don't do this, the question that always comes up is, aren't you afraid they're going to follow you home, or anything going to happen coming back from a location? Have you had any of the dream experiences related to that, either before or after, having a dream related to a location that you believe was information kind of getting fed to you about the place, or after you were in a location?
Well, there was this one incident, and it was when I had mostly my other team with me, the old team, where I actually lost, I'd say the first time was like 45 seconds of time, and the other time was about 30 seconds where my eyes turned black, and I wasn't me, and they actually were like shaking me to get me to come out of it. I was giving them death looks like I wanted to kill them, but I was taking on the negativity that's in that home. So when I went home that night, I always ask for guidance from my spirit guides or from my angels, whoever wants to help me through that, and they came to me in a dream, and kind of comforted me and told me that I was okay, that nothing did follow me home, because that was my number one fear, right? My home is my castle. I don't want any negativity here. I have it gets cleansed. It's very welcoming. I don't want that dynamic to change. So I had that dream, and that was kind of cool to experience that, not missing the time and my eyes turning black. That was kind of creepy, but,
Interesting. Now, Kelly, how about you? How did you get interested in doing this?
Actually, when I was younger, the house that I grew up in had some very strange things happening when I was younger, and never could really explain some of the things. A lot of noises, scratching on closet doors. My younger sister and I shared a room. She's 5 years younger than me, so when she was 4, she used to hide under the bed and say she was afraid of the lady with the white hair in the closet. So I was kind of a little freaked out when I was younger, and I was afraid of it until shows like John Edward Crossing Over and things like that made me realize, watching those, that it's not always something that you should be afraid of. It could be just someone letting you know their presence. So I kind of started to not be afraid as much, and then the more and more I watched those shows, the more intrigued I would become. So that's basically how I got into it. Now, I don't feel any of I'm not sensitive to anything, so I'm kind of the one that will go in and just, if there's something happening, it's like, oh, let me go check it out. I don't have that fear of it, so, because I don't have the feelings, so.
Now, how many out of the members of your team, how many do have some degree of sensitivity?
My daughter does. She actually can dream things the day before sometimes that she's gone into an investigation. There was one night that it was the very first investigation we were ever going to. We weren't actually in a group at the time. We were just going to be guests. And she had a dream that about this one house. We knew nothing about it whatsoever. We had no idea where we were going. No information was given to us, nothing. And that night she had a dream that there was a man in the bathroom, and she could picture him in the mirror and described what he was wearing, how his hair was, everything. And when we got to the house, the owners were outside of the house, and they were going to greet us there, and they actually didn't want to go into the house, and they said they were petrified of the bathroom, and that's where her dream was, in this bathroom. So, yeah, it was kind of a little bit weird, but yeah, she had that dream, and they kept saying that they wanted them out of the bathroom. They didn't want them in this bathroom, but she has sensitivities to it. Adrian is a medium. She's in the group. And I think basically April and Tina pick up on a lot of stuff, too, that they have that, too. But
Tina has the ability to shut down any electronics, too, when she's investigating.
Yeah.
So she's not allowed to touch anything.
I think it's basically Caitlin and I that are the ones that don't have really any sensitivity towards it.
Interesting. I have to ask. So that investigation with the bathroom, and they were terrified to go into the bathroom, and they had the dream about it. Did you pick up anything interesting, either personal experiences or evidence-wise from that location and that specific room?
Yeah, they tried to find the history about it, and they didn't really find any history on it that would relate to that. It was just the people that lived there. At that point, one of them had pictured the guy that lived there had pictured a dead body on the ground right by one of those rooms there, but it was right by the bathroom, but they never really found anything to make it to find that was what was actually who lived in that house and stuff. So
I understand. 646-929-2384 if anyone has a question for our guest tonight, Ontario Paranormal Inquest Society. And so I'm curious, your investigations, do you primarily do private homes, or do you do some of the historical locations, a mix of both? What would you say is kind of your breakdown of the areas you investigate?
Yeah, I think we've done it all, from private homes to mental institutions to museums. Like, we do everything. Yeah. We're pretty.
All right, well, you got.
We don't.
You got anyone? Go ahead.
Pardon?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say, you got me at anyone that.
Hey, you're
go
right.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to go. All right. No, we pretty well keep ourselves busy. If we don't have any home investigations coming up or anything, we will find something to do, because we like to be out there and doing what we love. So it's better than just sitting around with all this equipment doing nothing.
Awesome. Well, anyone that knows, that's listened to the show, knows that I love the hospitals and the mental institutions. So I gotta ask. You certainly piqued my interest there. What mental institutions have you been able to investigate? And I'm always curious about hearing about new ones. So.
Kelly, you can take this one. It was your baby.
Well, there was one that we went to. We can't disclose the location or the name of it. We are going to do, hoping to do a documentary on it.
We've been there twice now.
Yeah, we've been there twice. Very interesting place. But yeah, we're working on doing the documentary, and we can't release that information of where it is. But it was pretty.
It was intense.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's huge. The place is just huge.
Oh, awesome.
I think that was our biggest one yet.
Yeah.
Any interesting experiences that you can relate without giving anything away?
Well, we've heard screaming in the one
hall.
Yeah.
You had a girl singing to you guys after you sang Happy Birthday.
Yeah, that was in the basement, just by the morgue there. It was someone that we brought with us. It was her birthday, so we started singing Happy Birthday to her, and as we were walking down the halls, and then it was like something was right behind us, and it just was like, hoo-hoo, and it was, we all turned around like, holy crap, that was really close. But when we listened to on the recording, it kind of sounds further back, so I don't know, but at the time, it just felt like it was like someone was right over our shoulder. It seemed really, really loud.
I got punched in the stomach, or pinched in the stomach, and had a huge bruise last time we were there. That was kind of cool. Kind of makes you want to go back and do it again.
Absolutely. So has there been any time through any of this that any investigation that while you're in it you kind of get the what the hell am I doing kind of feeling? Like, it's always I always think of this one picture that kind of floats around on Facebook of, it's kind of like this giant Grim Reaper having two people by the collar, and they're like, "Now you found me. What are you going to do?" You know, this is all fun, but if, you know, all of a sudden all the doors started slamming and, you know, blood's dripping out of the walls or something, I may have a different view of it. I'm just curious. Any time on this that something's going on, not saying that you know, went screaming out of the house or that you did change it, but anything freaky enough that it had you kind of second guessing while you were in the middle of doing the investigation?
Well, we did a museum, and the door slammed shut on me, and I screamed some obscenities really loud. But other than that, I am usually the one chasing everything down the hall. What, black shadow? Okay, let me go get it. And I will push people out of the way to get that shadow, to get that proof. So, but that's about it. Like, except when we were at the mental institution, it was pretty intense for me. And we did, the first time we went out there, we camped out there, and we were there from, what was it, Saturday to Monday? And
Sunday.
Yeah, I didn't go back in the second day because it was a little overwhelming. So, but I
oh wow.
Yeah, it's hard to explain because in my profession, I mean, I work with people with developmental disabilities, so you know, it was hard to go into a place that they could have lived, right? So that part was overwhelming for me.
Interesting. Now, because people, a lot of our listeners, I don't believe, are very familiar with. Are you out of Hamilton or where exactly are you? Windsor, okay.
Right across we're right at the Detroit River there, right across from Detroit, Michigan.
All right. Any kind of famous locations that you could tell us about up in your area?
Museums.
Yeah.
The theater.
What were some of the museums?
One of the theaters.
Yeah, we did a theater in Chatham, Capitol Theater in Chatham.
Which is about an hour away from here. And that was kind of cool.
Yeah. A lot of the places we can't really disclose the locations, but, you know, they let us post some stuff on the Internet, but they don't want the location disclosed. So, but we have done some. We did the Duff Bobby House.
Yeah, that one we have permission
for. Capitol Theater, some private residences, and
Mackenzie Hall.
Yeah, Mackenzie Hall is a big one.
Which is the old jail in Windsor.
Yeah, we do. We've done some public hunts there.
Yeah.
Heritage Village. I don't know if any of your listeners are familiar with that, but it's a lot of. They will move a lot of historic homes, and there's a school there, there's a church there, and they move them all onto this big lot, and people can go and go through them and visit them. And we've done public hunts there. We actually have one coming up October 18th and 19th where we'll have some people who want to be guests for an investigation for the night, and they can come and kind of do their own. We set them off into little groups, about 8 people with one of the investigators, and we go into each one of us will go into one of the houses there, and they can kind of do their own little investigating. So it's kind of cool. We've been there quite a few times.
We always get good stuff when we go.
Yeah. And they seem to like it. So it's giving back to.
Yeah, I set up the fundraiser because I wanted to, because they've done so much for the paranormal community in this area. So there's about our team, and then there's Unearth Paranormal, who's in the Windsor area, and then there's a couple independent groups from around the area that are putting on this fundraiser for them, just to help them raise money to
fix up some of the places.
Yeah. So.
Oh, awesome. And we have a caller that'll be able to get to in just a few minutes here, but I want to kick it over to Tracy, who I believe has a question.
Hey, ladies, what's happening?
Hey, Tracy.
Hey.
Why are you giggling now?
That's what we do.
The question I have is, all the members on your team, are they from Canada?
Yep.
And Has any of them ever lived in the States at all?
Don't think so, no.
Well, the reason I ask is I know you guys are just a stone throw away from Detroit, but do you think that you guys look at it a little bit differently than we do down here in the South?
In what way?
Yeah, I don't know what your views are on the paranormal in the South.
Well, let's go this way. Like down here in Florida, you know, where Matt's at there in North Carolina, you know, we have the old Bible Belt thing going on here.
I think everyone is pretty open.
Yeah, there's a lot more interest in it now than.
But remember, we met that group. Who was that group we met when we were at the Paracon? And they said that they weren't very. It wasn't very open up in Sault Ste. Marie, and that's in Michigan. You don't remember that?
I don't remember what.
They said they were a lot of religious-based groups out there, so they've been targeted by hate groups a lot.
You said, I'm sorry, you said hate groups?
Yeah, I guess.
Not us.
Not us. But there's another group that's, 8 hours away that they're having problems with people
in the
community accepting them, and they've come across a couple hate groups.
Yeah. There's actually quite a few groups starting in Windsor here. Some have been in it for a while, and then some are new and starting out, so it seems to be growing in the Windsor area, Windsor-Essex County area, so a lot of people.
Right, so overall, with, like down here, Matt, I think we've talked about this before, about how here recently that we've noticed that there really isn't a lot of new teams coming on board, and, you know, some of the other teams are slowly dropping off, you know. What have you guys noticed up there? Just more of an increase?
Oh, definitely.
More of an increase. Yeah,
definitely. There goes what we had at one point 3 teams in Windsor, and now there's like 10.
10, probably 11
yeah.
12 now.
Yeah.
Why, personally, why do you think that is, personally?
Probably more people are interested in the TV shows and everything. You know, it's more put out in the media now more, right? So, I don't know. Like, look at the 2 that wanted to start their own group when they went to our function. So, I don't know if it's maybe now that we're out there more and people are realizing that you can do this. It's not just what goes on TV. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I think
now, a lot of times, you know, down here I don't want to say I'm in the deep South, but South enough to be in the deep, but there's a lot of places that we go where we find that possibly knowing a few languages is a good thing, like maybe some Native American tongue or, you know, maybe some Spanish tongues, something of that nature. Do you guys find that up there?
Sometimes they've done French.
Yeah.
You know, they'll if we know that there was French ancestry and stuff in the location that we're at, some of the girls in the group will try and talk some French, see if we can get anything.
I did have that one guy talk to us in Serbian at that one house. So that was kind of cool. I had to get a translator to translate that. But I think that's about it, right?
Yeah.
All right, Matt, that's it.
All right. Well, I do want to elaborate on this, on some of the regional things, but we have somebody that's been on hold a while, so I want to go ahead and check in with them, although for our guests here, you never know what you're going to get when you go to these calls, so let's see.
It's not good.
Sunday Night Dead, who am I speaking with?
Hi, Matt. It's Todd.
Hey, Todd. How are you?
Hey, Todd.
Good. Hey, Tracy. How are you?
What's happening, my hot dog loving friend?
I just gave Matt some pointers for Orlando on that, but there was a young lady that said she worked with the development with the handicap. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, go with that. Okay.
It's been a long day. I used to work in a psych hospital myself. Do you find that around the patients there's activity? How old is the place that you're working in with them? Is it a residential home or is it a in hospital setting or what?
Actually, it's a group home right now. They've closed all the institutions in this area. I think actually in Ontario. So they were dispersed into different group homes. And I do know the group home that I work in is, I don't know, rumored to be haunted. Weird stuff happens there all the time. But I have seen a certain individual in that home ask me who that man is standing in the door and start freaking out. So I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, it does. I used to notice that a lot of patients would respond to people that weren't there, and I had the feeling that they really were seeing something, even though they were labeled as schizophrenic, simply because of what I felt, in the different buildings that I worked in. But, the place I had worked in was built in 1873. But I think that because of the condition of a lot of these people, a lot of times the ghosts will hang with them. I don't know if it's because of the handicap or, if it's just easier to reach them or what. I haven't been able to figure that one out, but it did seem like, some of the activity that I experienced was around definite patients and not necessarily the location itself. So that was pretty interesting. And
honestly, the way I look at it is, so children can see spirits, right? They say that children are more vulnerable. So if an individual has a cognitive mentality of, say, a 5-year-old, why wouldn't they still be able to see that?
Oh, okay. I was dealing
still
with
in that
okay,
mindset, right?
I dealt with psych. I dealt with psych, not the other.
Well, actually, I deal with psychotic behaviors too. So I get where you're coming from. I just know that the one individual might be stuck in that time frame in his head, so that might be why he was seeing that man.
Right. Well, yeah, emotionally, I mean, if you're talking about Down syndrome, emotionally and mentally, they're, anywhere up to 10 or 11 years old, so, the short answer to that theory is I would think yes, that they would be susceptible to seeing what we don't in that right. I strictly dealt with psych. It was a big psych institution, and that's all we dealt with was psych. And I do think that a lot of people were seeing and experiencing things, and I think some of them actually, I don't know if they were targeted specifically or if they had family around them or if it was whatever was there in the hospital that was targeting them. I really, that I've never been able to determine, but I know that there were definitely certain patients that were extremely susceptible to influences that none of us could see, which I found pretty interesting. Also, I do know that there were certain locations in the hospital that were extremely active as well. I worked on the midnight to 8 shift, and I walked into a large day room that was locked one night without the lights on, and I heard some of the heavy plastic furniture go sliding very fast across the floor, and I just backed out and relocked the door. Another coworker and I put the lights on in there and went in, and of course there was nobody in there, and nothing was out of place. It was pretty funny. But there were other, floors in the building that I worked in that were much more active than others. Up on the 8th floor where they actually did a lot of the surgery, everything from birthing to lobotomies and, setting broken bones and, what have you. That was empty, and medical procedures were no longer done up there, but that was an extremely strange floor. I had been up there a couple of times, and I wasn't happy being up there. I wouldn't go up there after that, but one of the other buildings was extremely active as well, and that was a TV building where there had been a lot of death to people that didn't have a psychosis but were afflicted with tuberculosis. And I think that there was a lot of pain and suffering there from that. So I think there's a lot of activity in that building because of that. That would just be my guess. But, I had patients that I think were targeted specifically. So that's why I was asking. But anyway, so
anything unique with that, Todd? Just real quick, that day room you were talking about. Any particular history or anything that you were aware of in that room itself? That or any other claims in there other than that furniture moving incident?
Other workers had said that they had heard things when, especially on the 12 to 8 shift, occasionally in the shower room that was connected to that day room through a wall. You couldn't access it, but it was right behind it. It shared a common wall. They'd hear things in the shower room, for instance, showering. Or talking, they'd unlock the door and go in the shower room. Floor would be dry, no showers on, and of course nobody in it. So there was a lot of activity at different times between those two rooms that did share a common wall. It was on the admissions unit that I work on regularly. So that building was built in the 1930s as part of the TVA. So, who knows? Back in the day, there was a lot of abuse from both patient and employee upon patients. There was a lot of death. There was a lot of violence towards staff members from patients because of the lack of chemical control that they, utilize now. So, the short answer is, a lot of activity could be in those two rooms because of the history of the place in itself. It was not as old as the other two buildings that I was very familiar with, but old enough so that a lot of stuff had gone on in there.
Interesting. April in the chat room has my favorite question here. So Jackie, your kind of bucket list place location that you can actually name. So, if you had one place you could go to and investigate, what would be your dream location?
Let's see. I like old hospitals, so probably Linda Vista in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Would probably be on my list I want to go to the most.
Ed, have you heard about that or no?
So me?
Me?
Well, all of you, yeah. I apparently not.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, it's been turned into a nursing home, retirement home, and I don't think it was the greatest idea.
Yeah, I know, but isn't only half of it? I think only half of it.
Yeah, there is a part that they're still renting out for movies and whatnot. I don't know if they're allowing investigations in there or not, because that was, in really good shape for for location shooting for like businesses or hospitals, or it could have been utilized for a lot of different things, and they do rent that out for location shooting. So I don't know if they still allow investigations in there or not. I had heard.
Yeah, they do. I've just seen now. I don't know. I don't think it's open like some of the other locations that it's just public to be open to. But I've seen some teams just recently that have been in there. So you can't get into
cool.
that side.
That's cool that they still can get access. I think that's really cool. So anyway, I'm going to hang up and let you guys go. I just didn't want to hang up without saying goodbye. And thank you very much for answering.
No problem. Thanks for calling in, Todd.
Bye-bye.
Kelly, I guess same question to you. Dream location?
I don't have a specific spot. I would just like to go to visit some of the castles in Scotland. So
that'd be cool too.
Yeah, I would love to go to Scotland and just kind of go from castle to castle.
Ireland would probably be better.
Ireland too. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. The talk about kind of the the things with kind of mental, the whole link with mental illness and activity, because that seems to be a recurring theme, at least from things that I have seen in my work, and when I've had people on here on the show talk about their investigations. And since Jackie, you kind of since you work in this area, I was just curious to get your thoughts. It's kind of a chicken or the egg thing here. Does the mental disturbance, do you believe, attract the activity, or is the activity actually one of the factors in the mental illness? One of the things I was just thinking, my kids were watching a show today, one of the ghost shows on there, and the guy was talking about how one of the things that was manifesting itself in the house was he was constantly hearing people whispering in his ears. And you hear about these people hearing voices and things. How much of that is just biochemical that they're hearing the voices, or could there be people actually out there actually experiencing these things and no one's believing them, and it gets to the point where they kind of lose it? Just curious as your thoughts on that.
To be perfectly honest with you, I think it'd probably go either way, right? Like I said earlier, if they're stuck in the mindset of a child, spirits might be attracted to that because they might be the only people that will be able to see them. On the other hand, I've actually, since I work with psychotic behaviors and took this in school, I was actually able to sit down with somebody who was schizophrenic, who, was diagnosed as schizophrenic, but being in this field, it made me think more, because he would tell me that he would wake up with scratches down his back after he's had a conversation with a spirit. And he showed me pictures, and there would be, I couldn't see how he could get those scratches in that area between his, right in that area on his back. He would say that he didn't think he was crazy, that he actually thought that spirits were coming to him, and the doctors would just up his meds. So to this day, I think he's still stuck in that cycle. They just keep upping his meds, but it works for a while, and then the voices come back. I don't know. I can't really 100% answer that. I don't have an answer.
Oh, no, just kind of, I don't think, we can definitively get one here. I'm just kind of curious as your thoughts, and I agree. I think I'm not trying to say that it's 100% on either side. I just, wonder if some people that end up having some of these experiences are exactly how you describe it, that you, if you're constantly seeing it, particularly if it's something, mischievous or a little more aggressive, that, is either for some reason getting a kick out of messing with this person or a kick out of scaring this person. I could see after, after having that go on for some time, particularly if nobody believes you, how that could certainly start to make you a little bit unbalanced.
Yeah.
Tracy, your thoughts on, we covered a lot of different ground here. Any thoughts on any of this?
I don't know. When we're talking about the mentally challenged individuals, especially children, that's it's been a long debate in the paranormal field. Not only with children but with adults. So, ladies, what do you? How would you go about? I want to say, let's give you an example. You get a case, and you go in there and do your preliminary investigation, your interview, so on and so forth, and you find that, especially with dealing with it, that this person may actually be a little unstable. So where do you guys go from there? I'll just put it that way. If you guys had a case like that, where would you go from there?
I don't know.
Well, I think you kind of have to, when you do your prelim, you kind of have to get some kind of a feel for what that person is what they're saying, and then once you go and you get the evidence, if you have any evidence, you just kind of bring forward what you got. But Some people will, I don't know. There's some people that I think want to have the paranormal activity so bad that they kind of go overboard, and every little noise is something huge, right? So you kind of have to look at the person, and just figure out where they're coming from and go from
right.
there.
And I totally agree with you. But let's say you guys go ahead and do the investigation, and you take into consideration their possible handicap. So do you use that as a pro or a con? Does that make sense?
I guess it would really depend on the individual case, right?
Yeah.
I guess we really haven't run into anything like that.
No.
You get some that are a little bit more
eccentric?
Yes. That's the word.
Well, kind of related to that, have you ever run into a situation where maybe somebody kind of fits that description, and then you do the investigation and you don't find anything, and present that to them, and it's kind of like you're kind of bursting their bubble here, and then you get a kind of aggressive or rather negative response from them?
That could happen. I don't think that's ever happened while we've been there, but we're not going to give them. We can only give them if we get anything, and just basically show them what we've come up with, or if we don't have anything, and you'd basically just say, it's not necessarily to say that your house or your place is haunted or is not haunted, but at the time, this is what we came up with, or we didn't get anything. We have to be honest. So, and we could always do a follow-up and go from there. But I'm sure there is cases where people have said there's nothing happening, and they probably do get upset. But we're only going to give them what we've got. So.
Right. Oh yeah, I would say because I've had it actually happen. I'm not saying even, just, hey, I'm upset because you guys didn't find anything. It's like kind of, they may have been unbalanced going in, and the not finding any evidence when you go in there makes them more unbalanced. So, it's definitely interesting. I don't know, Tracy, you ever have that happen in any cases?
Yeah, we have. And, it's really a shame. And the one case where we did have that happen, after it was all said and done, I really do think it was, I dropped the ball on my part. I should have seen it from the beginning, that it was what it was, and I just got so excited about actually doing the case because of what it was. So yeah, once we got done and there was, we found absolutely nothing, and told them we basically found nothing, even though we explained to them, it may take us to come back to, do it again and see what we get. And they just got totally livid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say, too, I've done the same thing. I've never, so I think it's kind of funny. I mean, there's some people that, will make these calls on locations, never even being in the location. And, I never say that, a place is not haunted or does not have activity because, I'm not living there. I don't see what goes on all the time. All I can present back is that we did not obtain any evidence that there was any activity in the area. And we've actually offered to, we would offer to come back and do revisit some of them as well. It's just interesting. It's interesting dynamic. I haven't had it happen in a long time, but I have seen it where I felt like we were kind of popping somebody's, kind of delusion out there, and then you get this response that's kind of disproportional from what you're discussing here. I think this might be George on the line here. Let's see. Sunday Night Dead, who are we speaking with?
I'm here to console you for not being able to go to Texas.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I missed out I enjoyed being with my family this week, but I missed out on a good opportunity to do some investigating this week while I was supposed to be down in Texas. They canceled on me last minute, so.
Yeah, if you're going to hang out with Bowler, you're going to do more drinking than investigating, I can guarantee you that.
How are things going on with you, sir?
Same old, in the not-so-great state of Florida. Just hoping that the cold fronts from up north, I'm seeing some posts on Facebook throughout the day. It's getting a little chilly, and I'm hoping we get a little bit of that as well. Tired of the hot summer sun and ready for a little bit of a cool down. And hopefully by the time you get down here in November, we'll be perfect in that weather time to go out to the old Florida ghost town.
That'll be awesome. I'm very much looking forward to that. Yeah, I can say, because we're not all that far north from you. We're definitely noticing the difference here now. It's summer has definitely transitioned. It's chilly in the morning, in the 50s in the morning, and just low to mid 70s during the day. So we're far away from the 90s now here. So it's only a matter of time. And as much as I don't like the cold weather, I do rejoice a little bit when we have our first frost, because I just picture all the mosquitoes getting killed, because I spend the summer months. I honestly, if you'd see me now, I look like I have smallpox. I just get I get bit so bad, like all over by, like, if it's any type of blood-sucking insect, it loves me, and so I just get absolutely pounded all the time. So anyway, another question from the chat room for our guest tonight. How do you feel about working with mediums? And this is an interesting one, because I know you mentioned earlier that most of your team has some degree of sensitivity to it to begin with. So what are your thoughts on working with mediums?
Well, actually, Adrienne is just new to our group, and she is a medium, so she's been on just one case with us so far. But yeah, you can take what they are feeling, but then you also want to make sure that that's not going to completely lead you in one direction. You kind of want to keep an open mind as to what's going on. So that's what I'm feeling, anyways. They have their own can tell you exactly what they're feeling and what they're going through at the time, and seeing and stuff like that. But you kind of want to keep all your options open and not just focus on that one thing. But it's kind of good to have somebody that can kind of give you some insight as to what they're feeling at the time. Because then you can ask questions, leading if they catch a name or, something that might have happened. You can put your recorders out and go through an EVP session and ask questions, and maybe you'll get some responses according to your questions that you're asking. But I try to keep an open mind. I don't want to be just, focused on that one thing that person is saying. So I think it's pretty good to have someone with that background.
Have you had any good correlation with that yet, where maybe she picks up? I know you said she's just relatively new to the team, so I don't know exactly how much opportunity you have for this.
Come up. We've had other mediums come out with us on a few other occasions. So
she was really good at Heritage Village last weekend or 2 weekends ago, when she picked up on the male spirit in the train station, and we found out that he's been seen there.
And then the one house.
And then the one house, yeah.
Yeah, there was one house where she was picking up on the person's grandparent, right? The child's her mother.
In the Jack Miner house?
No, I'm talking about the residential we did.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. She picked up on one of the relatives. The grandfather, yeah. Yeah, so, but those are the only 2 times that she's been out with us, so looking forward to more times with her. But yeah, there has been other mediums that have come out with us, and they've picked up on a few things too that seem to be correct when we listen to what the families have said. So.
Oh, awesome. Well, top of the hour, time for a break. I'm going to say that Jackie and Kelly have been nice enough to send in some EVPs for us. So, again, as usual, kind of earphone, headphone alert here. So if you have them, get them out, because we have some to play in the second hour here, along with the stories with them. And I have to say ahead of time, before I play my top of the hour break song here, this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, because again, we're talking a little bit about regional things. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a chance to talk about that in the second hour or not, Tracy, but again, the whole difference culturally here, just the whole concept of Halloween gets kind of controversial here, and so when we put up our decorations, every once in a while you get looks from somebody that makes you think that they think you're sacrificing goats up in your bedroom. So this song's kind of my tongue-in-cheek response to that. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. You're listening to Sunday Night Dead.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666. I left alone. My mind was blank. I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Could I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? Just what I saw in my old dreams was a reflection of my Walkman staring back at me. 'Cause in my dreams, it's always there. See the
back. Bring back co-host
I love that.
Gracie. It's funny. I think the first time I played that one, our guest at the time was like, "You're just not right." We have a variety of different things that have done promos for us over the last year here at Sunday Night Dead. So, but I got to say, the roommate's probably my favorite. So, let's just get right into this. I want to make sure we have enough time to get through the clips. I'm sure we will, but I might as well lead right into this. So,
you guys should know that Tina's on the phone now.
Oh, hi, Tina.
Hi.
Tina, where you been?
Pardon?
Tina, where you been?
I had car trouble, so I got up here late. Kelly took over for me.
Oh, the old car trouble. Yeah. All right, well, let it slide this time.
No, thanks. I promise I'll be calm next time.
I'm assuming with the car troubles, then you did not get to hear any of the first hour, correct?
Actually, I got up here about a half an hour ago, but Kelly was doing such a fantastic job, I just let her keep going.
Cool. Well, then I got to ask, since you heard that, anything in particular you would like to add or talk about before we kind of dive into these clips?
No, the girls were doing great. Basically everything I would have said, they said too. So we work so well together that we kind of read each other's minds. It's wonderful.
Well, that's awesome. All right. Well, the first one here, I'll let Jackie, whoever's the right person to set this up, depending on the circumstances of it, you just let me know. But the first one I have here, I've shortened all your titles, so hopefully these all make sense. April says?
Yes, I think so. April says, I didn't mean to swear, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I don't have my laptop in front of me.
We're not FCC. Well, should I just go ahead and play it, and will that break up?
Yeah, just play it, and once you play it, I'll know what it is. Yep.
Okay. How I always do this, I play this twice. Really appreciate any feedback from the chat room as to how well you're hearing this, because sometimes we just have to adjust it up or down volume-wise. But here we go. April says. All right, I'm going to try going up. It's at the very end there, correct?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Okay, and I'll go low. Sometimes, even though it's kind of counterintuitive, sometimes really soft, you get that background out of it, and it's easier to hear. Again, it's that voice at the very end. All right, we're seeing a couple comments in the chat room. They think they're hearing yes. I'm not going to say what I think I'm hearing, but go ahead. Oh, Tracy, you were going to say something? No, okay.
No, it's me, man.
Okay, so go ahead. Set this one up for us.
Who, are you talking to me?
Yes. So what's kind of the circumstances here, and what was going on with this clip?
Actually, I wasn't even in the room when that one was taken. That was at the Duff House. And I think they had gotten in contact with a female spirit. And every time that they would get up to leave, she would...
is that where that one's from? Yeah, we were...
that's when the door slammed on us, that place.
Yeah, we were across the hall into... It would have been the master bedroom of the lady of the house back in the day. And every time we would get up to leave, April would say, okay, well, thank you very much for being with us this evening, and then the flashlight would go off and on again. And she would say, would you like us to stay? And the flashlight would stay on. And at the point where the flashlight stayed on, we caught this EVP saying yes as well. So it was kind of cool. Like 3 times we got up to leave, and as soon as we would get up to leave, the flashlight would go crazy. So it was interesting.
Did you get the EVP yes all 3 times as well?
No, only the one time.
Okay.
Once out of the 3. So.
All right, we're going to play it again. Again, listen for yes at the end of this clip. Definitely, can definitely hear that. All right, the next one. And do you like Tina?
I love this
one. Story behind this one.
This one was at Mackenzie Hall. It was an old jail that we investigated, and they used to hang people in right where the parking lot is, and we were able to. They kept getting these weird K2 hits around Tina. So at one point we were able to, and I should say that this was taken in the basement, and the basement is one big circle. So we were able to follow this spirit, and it kept setting off the K2 meter. So was it 4 of us? Yeah, it was 4 of us.
There was 4 of us, yes.
So 2 of us went on one side of the hall, and 2 went on the other side of the hall. We were able to meet it in the middle, and then every time Tina would move, it would follow her. It was so cool. So, yeah, that's what that's
yeah. She says cool, I say creepy, so.
I get excited over this stuff, so everything's cool to me.
All right, well, I'm going to, again, probably play it 3 times. We'll play it regular and then loud and soft, so give people a chance to hear it.
You like Tina?
All right, we're going to go up. It was a little harder I heard it when I played it earlier today. It's a little harder to hear on the phone here.
You like Tina?
Yeah, I could hear it that time. So at the very end, and I'll try it soft. Who knows?
You like Tina?
All right, we got vote in the chat room that they're hearing no. What did you make out?
When we played it back, it was kind of a long, drawn out,
in a male voice.
Right.
Yeah, you can't hear it very well over the phone.
That's why I always advise, anyone that's listening to this, whether you're listening to it live now or on the podcast, go ahead and headphones and through your computer is much better than trying to hear it on the phone. But here we go.
Yeah. You like Tina?
Okay. I could hear that. Okay, we're gonna the colorful one I'm gonna save for last. So this one I just had labeled as help. So if that doesn't ring a bell, I can play it first.
If you play it, I'll know exactly where it is, what it is.
All right, here we go.
You want to play it first?
Here we go. Yep, here we go.
That was taken at the Duff House, too.
Oh, cool. All right, I'm going to go down on this one. I like this one. Okay, and we'll try loud. So, everyone watch your ears. This one's higher volume-wise. All right. Got a bunch of different opinions out here in the chat. why don't you tell us a little bit of the background of when you caught this and what you think it's saying?
Okay, that was at the Duff House also. That was caught from a recorder we had. I had stationary on the stairs. And you can hear, I think it's Tina in the background talking in that master bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I just put the recorder there, and it ran the whole night, and that's what came up. So I don't know what questions they were asking at the time in the master bedroom, but I'm curious to see if it's the same woman that you caught in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. And I think
what do you think it's
anybody help or something like that.
Anybody help?
Or somebody
Is that
help.
what you said?
Or
somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because we got Buddy. Buddy, help me out. Buddy. So okay. So people are picking up some more syllables here. Let's go ahead and play this again.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think anybody. Let's see one more time. Yeah. Now that, again, hard to hear over the phone and things, but that almost sounds male to me. I don't know what people in the chat room think or not. Not sure, but it to me that comes across more masculine. And Todd thinks he was hearing a me. Anybody help me here? So let's go ahead and one more time here, just to listen to see if you pick up a me at the end. I honestly, on the phone, I can't tell whether that's still part of the statement there or if that's a voice from the team. There is a sound at the end of that. I just, on the phone, I can't tell one way or another. Tracy, your thoughts on that one?
It sounds to me like it says, help them.
Okay. And I'll go to the best person I've ever dealt with as far as deciphering EVPs, Mr. George. You picking anything out particular on that one?
I don't know. I'm still freaking out about that thing behind me you said in the commercial. Looking over my shoulder ever since.
All right.
I'd have to listen to it. I can loop it out. And that's the hardest part, too, is the majority of us out there, we talked about this before on the show as well, is when we're doing review, it's loop, 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 loop over and over again, and we're trying to make out what's going on there. We can get more verification, 2 or 3 on the show, and it leaves a lot to be desired for us to want to throw into the mix what we hear over those 2 or 3 plays. And I know, like I said, when we do it during our review, it's got to be probably about 20 times. Some people stay by their laurels and say that only after they do the first 3, if they can't make it out after 3 loops, that they don't go with it any further. But I know that I loop it about 100 times. I go crazy with it.
Yeah, I do the same thing as well. So, all right. Well, the next one I have here is entitled Hurry. So we'll go ahead and play this again and then hear the story behind this one. That's awesome. Here we go. And we'll try it once soft, but that comes through pretty clear. All right, hang on, that didn't go. Let's do it again. All right, I'm having technical difficulties here. So, all right, I actually would have thought at first that was somebody on the team. So that hurry up. That voice did not belong?
No. This is one of our best EVPs that we've got. What happened was we went to an old, it was a bar out in the county, and it used to be one of these stops for people that were coming in and off the train. So there was the bar downstairs and then the motel with the rooms you could rent upstairs. No one had been upstairs of this place for 25 years, and they allowed us to go up there and investigate because they could hear walking on the ceiling, and there was clearly no one up there.
Furniture moving, stuff like that, yeah. So we left our recorders running, went downstairs for a bite to eat in the bar, and so there was no one upstairs at all at this time, and you can actually hear the team members just starting on the stairs. You hear like 2 steps on the first 2 stairs at the bottom level, and then you hear the EVP, hurry up, here they come. So it was obviously something intelligent.
And then those stairs were the only stairs in the building to get down. So they would have had to have passed us in order to get out.
Okay. So I'm going to try to play this one again, and hopefully it cooperates with me. I don't know why I wasn't playing there. Oh, yeah, I can hear the "Here They Come." One more time. So you get anything? That is awesome. Did you get anything else interesting, evidence-wise, while you were up there, or even personal experience-wise?
2 girls' names. Girls' names. Jillian was, yeah. And then we saw a picture of 2 younger twins that would have been around that age that used to live in the building. But we don't know how they passed away. Records. Records aren't around anymore.
We had someone with something that got thrown at them.
Yeah, I had a piece of wood thrown at me because I was trying to play a prank on them and throw it through an old broken-out window. And I threw the wood through the window, and I turned around to laugh because I thought it was funny, and it actually got thrown back at me. So, of course, I said to one of the guys that was investigating with us, Eugene, why would you do that? And he had the team on the other side of the building because they heard something over there. So, yeah, whoever it was didn't like me throwing the wood through the window.
Well, that was
fun.
That was definitely a good one there. So it's definitely
that's awesome. This was one of the better locations we were at. There was a lot of. I think that was where we caught our highest hit on our millimeter as well. I think it went up to like 21.
Yeah,
which is incredible. That was an amazing sight. I think the owners. We scared the owner so bad with the evidence, he's probably not going to let us back in, but it was really cool.
Yeah, when he heard that EVP, his face, just turned white.
Yeah.
He didn't know what to do.
His face turned white, his jaw dropped, he threw the earbuds across the room, looked at us and said, that's messed up, and walked out of the room. That was the end of it for him. I asked when he would let us back, and he kind of laughed and said, I don't know, I don't think so. So it was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it was really cool. We caught a lot of good stuff.
Oh, awesome. Mm-hmm. Now, any claims other than the footsteps upstairs and the furniture moving? Did he ever claim to, hear kids or see kids or anything that would be, in correlation with the twins?
I don't know that the owner has, but I think the
employees. One of the employees?
One of the bartenders and one of the waitresses, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Now the bar owner that night as well got into his vehicle and had all kinds of electronical problems with his vehicle that night.
We're not saying it's because we were there, but it was kind of...
But it was coincidental. He's never had problems before, and he hasn't had problems since. It was a really bizarre night.
Interesting. All right.
But there is someone that's up there doing renovations right now as well, and the guy that does renovations can't stand being up there by himself because he said it always feels like he's being watched. So I don't know.
Interesting to see if the reservations start anything going as well there. Last one here, and kind of self-explanatory. I don't even want to say what it. Let's just say that the word. There were some questions as to whether we could play this or not, and the answer is yes. But anyone with sensitive.
You know what it is now.
anyone with sensitive ears, you're warned. It's actually really quick too, so just be ready. All right, hang on. Made it louder here, so get ready.
I heard gold maple leafs.
That would go along with that statement, I would say.
And a softer one here. Yeah, so basically the good old FU. So what's the story behind this one?
That was when we were at that jail, and we were in the basement, and we were sitting around, the four of us, doing an EVP session, and we kept feeling like there was someone behind us coming down the back hallway, because like I said before, it's one big circle, and we kept feeling like someone came up on our right-hand side.
Yep.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the question was, but it came out the FU, so.
I think Kelly was taunting it. To be honest, I think Kelly was taunting it. That was a really good location, too. We got a lot of EVPs. Unfortunately, a lot of shadows out of the corner of our eyes, but we didn't catch anything on video, which was kind of upsetting. And we got a lot of, I kept getting my hair touched everywhere we went.
I think I actually pushed you out of the way to get the black shadow down the hall.
You sure did.
Yeah. You're like, seriously, it was funny. I should have like, yeah, you go get that shadow. They're all standing in this room, and I'm like running down this dark hallway trying to snap pictures. Push them out of my way.
Now that location, I'm making sure I'm not getting these all mixed up and things, but that location has been on some of the shows, hasn't it? That sounds familiar.
I don't think so.
The old jail?
No? Yeah.
Mackenzie Hall?
We've talked about it on other shows, yeah.
No, I was wondering if it was.
Like he definitely means
no, I was wondering if it was on one of the TV shows. It sounds familiar,
I don't think so.
Unfortunately, our area is not that far from Detroit. Like, we're right across the river from Detroit. But because we're in Canada, there's not a lot of television shows or documentaries or any of that kind of focus on Canada. And our area is just absolutely ripe in activity. There's so much history in our area, and being so close to the water, we get so much activity everywhere we go. And, I mean, we're pretty good about going back to debunk things. If we catch something, we'll go back, we'll play around with lighting, we'll play around with camera settings. EVPs, we make sure that we get in contact with everybody else that was in the area to make sure it wasn't somebody maybe whispering or coughing or something. So a lot of the stuff we catch, we make sure that we really we really go back and make sure that it's what we think it is and it's not a fluke. So.
Oh, awesome. Another question I always ask, I'm just curious about and to the best detail you can give, because I know some of these locations you can't reveal, all the places you have been, and I get that, Jackie, you will charge down a hallway and knock teammates over to chase shadows. So it's not necessarily that you wouldn't do this, but of all the places that you've been, if you had to spend one night alone in a part of a location, what would be the last place you'd want to do that in? We'll kind of hit all three of you on this, so whoever wants to. Actually, no, I'll put Jackie, you go first.
Which place wouldn't I stay by myself? Or
Not
I
that you wouldn't. The last place you would want to, out of all the places you've been. So in other words, the place you would be most uncomfortable being alone, spending the night in.
The mental institution we did.
Okay.
I know, because it was ridiculous. I couldn't even go in the second night when we camped out there in an RV. So, yeah, I wouldn't stay there overnight by myself.
Now, was there a certain
people? Maybe. But I'm
was
probably
there a
the only
part?
ghost hunter in the world that's terrified of the dark. So I sleep with a nightlight. That's my dirty little secret. So, you know.
All right, was there any place in particular that stood out in that building?
Pardon? Yes.
Was there any area in that building that stood out, you know, whether, you know, morgue or a certain floor or something that stood out as being particularly more heavy or uncomfortable feeling than the other areas?
Yeah, the infirmary. If you go upstairs, as you're walking toward the infirmary at the end of the hallway, there is a hallway that was directly off to the right that had a really negative, nasty energy down that area. And then once you got to the infirmary, it was just kind of heavy. But there'd be no way. I absolutely would not. It's not a matter of it'd be the last place I would stay. I would not stay there. There's no way.
Okay, so same location for you then, Kelly?
No, you know what? To be honest, the worst place that I've been, which is going to sound really goofy because I just went today in the daylight with one of our other investigators. We went through and we're taking pictures and kind of videoing, and it's a haunted wood location at the end of a street in Amherstburg. It's called Texas Road, and there's been a lot of urban legends, and they actually focused on that on one of the television shows they have up in Canada.
It's in Creepy Canada.
Creepy Canada, yeah. They did a segment on Texas Road and on the graveyard and whatnot, and I'll tell you, I will never go there in the dark. That place, there's something nasty in there.
What are some of the urban? I can't talk now. What are some of the urban legends of Texas Road?
The way it's set up is it's kind of a pathway that you've got to walk down for about 10 minutes in a wooded area that leads you to an old graveyard at the end of it. And some of the urban legends is that there was, a cult, like seances and whatnot back in there. So you'll see the hooded figures back there. You can feel people surrounding you. Urban legends say that people were robbed and raped back in there, that the bikers would park their motorcycles underneath the bridge along this pathway and then make it look like there was a car down in the water, so that when somebody went down to check to see if you needed help, that's when, you know, you would get robbed or raped or killed or whatever. So that's, you know, it's just when you walk into that area, it's so heavy and such a nasty feeling, and you can hear people, like you can hear things in the woods all around you. It constantly feels like you're surrounded.
I got my butt grabbed last time we were there. A black shadow came charging at me, and next thing you know, my butt was being grabbed.
It's because you're so hot, Jackie.
I know. Everybody wants to be hot.
Any other, any interesting, other than the personal experience there that Jackie had, any interesting evidence that you obtained any time you were out there?
I don't know.
I don't think we've ever been out there as a group. I mean, we've gone out separately, but I've never caught an EVPs or anything out there. Weird K2 hits in random places, like in a field in the past, but that was it. And K2 hits all the way to the red. Constant. That was kind of weird.
My cousin went back in there a year ago. She's the one that kind of I've been developing this with all
throughout the years, and she was in there taking pictures and with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend caught a picture of her, and then directly behind her you can see the bottom half of like the legs and the torso of something standing behind her, but all you see is the torso and the legs, and it's very, very clear. Oh no, Kelly got that thing with the apparition with his hands going across.
Oh,
saying take me home.
Yeah.
She got something on video when she was there by herself. That was kind of
very interesting.
Yeah.
Tina, how about you?
Really, what's that?
The last place you would want to
that's the Texas Road for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, it's
now,
only Tina and Kelly on the radio, or it's Tina and Jackie on the phones right now. Kelly left us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then I called Tina Kelly, so I apologize for that.
Nope, that's cool. No problem.
All right, so I got to always, I usually ask this to all my friends or teams in the upper Midwest there, so, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and so forth. But so I'm curious, since you were up in areas that get really bad winters, do you notice any difference in evidence or activity or your experiences in the winter up there as opposed to warmer weather?
Oh, that's a good question. You're looking at me, I'm like, I don't think we have. Last year, see, I've only been a team member for about a year, and last year was a really mild winter for us, so I didn't notice any difference. The only time I ever noticed a difference with activity with weather was we had a really bad thunderstorm one night.
A lot of lightning.
Right at the beginning of the season when it started to get warm. And our K2s were going through the roof. The activity was crazy. But I don't know. It's something we might have to look at this winter to see. Sometimes it's too cold to even leave the house. Let alone investigating. Really? I am an honest person. I'm telling you the truth.
Well, I'll say, and again, I'm saying right up front that cold here isn't the same as cold there, but I have noticed a minor difference when we've done things here. But my own theory has been it's more related to the investigators. Obviously, you're going to feel more if you have more exposed skin as opposed to having, a hat on or possibly gloves. Not sure how much kind of being bundled up, and particularly if you're cold and trying to stay warm, how much that impacts what you're hearing, what you're experiencing overall. So I think it's more my personal opinion, and that's all it is, just an opinion here, is that I don't think the activity changes as much as I think, at least for me and my team when we've done this, that we've it impacts us more than in our ability to at least get things from our experience, not necessarily EVPs or things along that line, than it would under warmer weather. You're not going to get the spider web effect if you got a hat on.
Yeah,
right.
too.
So that's
that theory, though. Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, what got me thinking about it is I do a lot of work with the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and one of the workers there was telling me that one of the craziest nights they had was a night when it was very, I want to say it was like, 8 or 9 degrees outside. It was one of the coldest nights there. It might have even been negative. I don't remember now, but it was the coldest night they were ever there running a tour. Was one of the craziest nights they ever had there. So that had me wondering if, does it correlate? Now, I haven't seen it be dead in the cold, but I certainly haven't been anywhere where I would say it's been more active. Now, to your point about the thunderstorms, I've definitely seen, repeat locations that I've been at. Some of the times where the activity's been the most active have correlated with either storms in the area, storms hitting, or storms previously hitting, or storms coming. So, just basically that whole thunderstorms in the area have certainly correlated with that for me personally. Tracy, your thoughts?
I agree with you when it comes to the winter thing. I think that, they're still, our winters down here, Matt, aren't, as bad as yours are in North Carolina. But I agree with you about the bundled up part. Plus, I think you get out there and you, especially if you're doing an investigation outside, you're so worried about not freezing, you can't mentally concentrate on what you're doing, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Now, when it comes to the actual weather, we've only had one location where the weather has affected our results, and it's not because we believe it's not because of the actual, electrics of the storm, but because of way back when the spirit that we believe we contact there would come in the house during real bad weather. And when we have bad weather at this place, that's when we get the majority of our results.
Interesting. George, you still looking over your shoulder?
No, I just wonder where I could sign up where I could be the ghost that grabs butts.
That's awesome.
It's an amazing field, and we get the chance to meet people from all over the country and all over the world. And for a short amount of time, I got a chance to live in the area of Toronto, which was a very, very cool place, down by Yonge and Bloor, actually, right downtown. And I remember for a while there was a big time show on HBO called Ghost Trackers, and they put these kids in these haunted locations in Canada, mostly I think the Montreal, Quebec area, if I'm not mistaken, and they just would go in there all by themselves and do these investigations, and I give them a lot of courage for that age group to just decide that they're going to go do that. But the field is growing so much, and there are so many people fascinated with what's happening in the paranormal worldwide. And it's really interesting to hear a different perspective and that really, really cool accent of a boot.
Yep.
In the house?
I'm like, you're laughing. I'm going, really? I don't know.
I also... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. Fine.
No, I was just going to go ahead and ask, too, if you had any upcoming events, or we had a question in the chat room about public hunts, but anything coming up that you would like to talk about and let our audience know about?
Yeah, we've actually, right now we've got a 2-night public hunt fundraiser event for one of the museums around here. The museum is set up like a little village.
We already talked about it earlier.
Oh, about the fundraiser?
Oh, yeah, kind of about the fundraiser, but about the village.
Oh, okay.
Some of the cool stuff we got there.
So we're doing a fundraiser for that, for Heritage Village, where we're doing a 2-night public hunt, October the 18th and 19th, kind of so they can restore some more of the newer buildings that they've got being brought in. And then after that, we've got just a lot of home investigations. I think we're booked up right till
Christmas almost.
January, yeah. We've got probably about 6 or 7 home investigations after that in the Amherstburg, Windsor area. So it's funny.
Go ahead.
We're getting calls almost on a weekly basis now about, I've got this and this going on at my house. Would you guys mind coming to check it out? So it's really cool.
That's awesome. Now, if anyone's would be interested in taking part in that fundraiser, how could they get more information?
Our Facebook page. It's posted
yeah.
all over there.
Okay.
Along with some evidence we've caught in from there before, too, if people want to check that out.
And we have that, for anyone out there, we have that on the Sunday Night Dead Facebook page as well, their Facebook post. And so And Tracy, I don't know if you can get if you can quick copy that and put that in the chat room for our people that are listening right now. That would be cool as well. So, any location that, other than this public one that you're doing, any location that you can disclose that you have coming up?
I don't. Nothing museum-wise or anything like that. Just the private residences I think we have coming up.
Yeah. Oh, I have like a coffee shop type of place that
coffee shop.
She's asked me if we could go in. It's in an area in Windsor where they used to do the rum running back in the day. So
oh wow.
It's one of the older buildings. It's the way this building's set up. It's really cool. In the basement, there's all these little like alcoves that go. It's not just a full-out basement. There's all these little alcoves that have been built in, and it's built with that old farm stone. Like I don't even know how old the building is. It's
creepy.
It's well over. Yeah, it's very creepy.
The basement creeps me out.
But she's asked us if we would go in there one night after she closes up shop and we can investigate. So that's kind of cool. But I think that's all we have lined up for private residents. We have to go back to a theater that we did in Chatham to kind of see if we can debunk some stuff. We caught a really cool, what we think is an apparition. We just want to make sure that it is. We want to go try a few things with our cameras and make sure that that's actually what it is and it's not somebody else in like the orchestra pit or something. But other than that, no, we've got so much going on with home investigations. And don't really have time to do anything else right now, which is great. Like, I mean, I'm not complaining by any means. That's kind of why we all got into it, was we wanted to help people understand more what was going on. And I mean, put people's minds at ease, right? Like 90% of it is not paranormal. It's, faulty wiring in the house or, old creaky floorboards. It's not anything. It's not a ghost. But, I mean, people get scared, so it's our job to kind of go in and show them, no, this is what's going on in your house. It's not what you think it is. Don't worry about it. Go back to sleep type of thing. So,
what's the biggest, kind of for both of you here, what's the biggest thing you'd say you've learned now compared to when you had first started working in this field?
Oh, my God. Do you have another 2 hours? The biggest thing I have learned, and I don't know if it's just this area or what, the whole para-unity thing, I don't even want to start.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys had talked about that or not.
No.
So
Tina said it great today. What did you say?
Somebody was on the Facebook, and the ever-so-popular Facebook venting about how, all the teens could have come together and had such great para-unity in our area and whatnot. And
check your egos at the door.
Check your egos at the door. This isn't a pissing contest. We're not. We're all in it for the same thing. And I thought, you know what? My whole take on the para-unity thing is it should be knowing we've got 8 or 9 groups,
like 10 or 11 now.
Yeah, in our small area that are all doing investigations. We can all work together. These groups run themselves like a business. And I said, not everybody has the same business sense. Not everybody runs their business the same way. Para-unity to me is acknowledging that there are these different groups, that everybody has their own way of running things, and being happy for people when they get a really good investigation or if they get some really good evidence. Encouraging them when they're down. It doesn't mean that you have to work together on everything and be best friends and we all sit around a campfire singing Kumbaya together. Like, let's be honest. But in fairness, if we have another group in the area that maybe we don't agree with their work ethic, but you know what? They've got a really good location that they're the only ones that have been able to get in there. Good for you guys.
Exactly.
And you know what? I really hope you catch something good, or I really hope you debunk everything that they're telling you, one way or another.
But that's what para-unity should be, just encouraging each other to do better. Doesn't mean we all have to work together, but it doesn't mean we have to stab each other in the backs and try and sabotage each other either.
I agree. I always kind of word it as it should be. I view it as, and I think the words means different things to different people, so it's kind of a bad buzzword now. But
yeah,
I view it as, just mutual respect. You don't have to agree with how somebody does things. You don't have to. I personally don't see value in the bashing that goes on there, and all the different things on there. I just kind of view it as it just detracts you. It knocks you off your game. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to go out of my way to harm anyone on these things. I'm not going to go out and bash them. If somebody wants to go around and do things that I think might be not the best, as long as they're not harming anyone or doing any damage to anything, that's kind of their prerogative. And so I'm with you on that. I think it's more of a matter of respect than particularly working together. Now, hopefully people can kind of advance the field. I think there's a certain collaboration along that lines, but that's not necessarily meaning that the teams act as one team.
And we had a few teams that we used to do a lot of big projects with, but it got to the point where it was a high school thing all over again. And that's not why I got into this. I don't need a popularity contest. I got into this because I want to help people understand what goes on in their homes, whether it be something paranormal or whether it just be something normal. But I grew up not knowing where to turn and not knowing who to talk to with all kinds of paranormal things happening around me. And I don't want other people to feel that aloneness that I felt for years and years. That's why I got into this. I didn't get into this to be part of a bigger community and to become best friends with everyone else in the area that does the same thing. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to go and badmouth anyone or backstab anyone or sabotage evidence. It's just that's not what we're about.
No.
Some other groups around here are, and it's very unfortunate. But like you say, it's a mutual respect. That's what it should be.
We have the key groups that we work with now. Kelly and I were talking about it earlier. We had a big meeting today, and we were driving up, and we thought, you know what, the groups that we work with now are the groups that have the same likeness as us, mindset. Not that we're going to not work with other groups in the future, but right now we are sticking to the people who have the same belief system as us and who aren't out there bashing other groups.
Or trying to get a television show.
Yes. Because let's face it, you're not going to get a television show. I'm just saying. See what I mean? You need about another 2 hours.
Sorry, we went off on a tangent there. Apologies.
No, it's funny, and a lot of what you're saying, this gets to kind of the regional thing that we're talking about, and don't have enough time to do a deep dive on this piece, but, it seems to me it's kind of a trade-off, and Tracy, I'm interested in your thoughts on this as well. It seems like there's much more competition, and it's much more kind of cutthroat in the northern and northeastern part of United States up into Canada, but there seems to be a lot more opportunities and locations, whereas kind of down our way, there aren't as many teams, but also because of kind of the cultural thing, there certainly aren't as many locations, and if there are some locations, you kind of run into this whole, there's no such thing as ghosts, and you're doing kind of the work of the devil type thing as well on that. So I don't know if that fuels. It's kind of interesting in that, more teams in an area where there's more opportunities, so that you have more competition, whereas here it's things are more few and far between, but because of that, I think there's less teams, less cutthroatness, I guess that's the way to word it.
Less drama.
That's not really a word, but yeah, less drama. But
well, then you guys need to come up here and investigate with us then.
Oh, I would love to. I've been I've actually been to Canada a fair amount, but it's been on both coasts. I've been to Quebec a fair amount, and I've been to BC a ton of times. I've only been in Ontario a handful of times, but would love to come up there and do some investigating. George, what do you have coming up tomorrow?
I'm moving to Canada to avoid the draft.
I just snorted about them.
Had a couple of guys from Australia, Bo Llewellyn and one of his colleagues, are going to be coming on the show tomorrow night to discuss the aspects of paranormal that they're getting involved with, primarily around ufology. So I'm interested in hearing what these guys have to say about the field and what they're discovering out there as well. But without question, a different perspective on the other side of the globe. And, you know, by the time that they're going to be talking to us, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, they'll be there at about 3 a.m. So we're happy that they're making a sacrifice to come and talk with us tomorrow night, Matt.
Cool. Oh, wow. Awesome. Well, Jackie and Tina, I thank you very much for coming on tonight. Really enjoyed talking to you, and we'd love to have you back on a future show.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much for having us. We
yes,
loved,
2 hours went by so quick.
It did.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, thank you. We'll hope to talk to you soon.
All right, thanks. And Tracy, next week, if I don't, if my trip doesn't get canceled, I will not be here again next Sunday night, or at least I'm not supposed to be here. So, Tracy, you and the rest of the team will be holding down the fort next Sunday.
Oh, the cat's away.
Yeah, who knows what'll happen, but definitely check in, and the orbs out there, please be nice to the rest of the team. We will see you all.
Stick the kegger.
All right. Well, everyone have a great week, and we will talk to you next weekend. Good night, everyone.
All right. Yeah, good night, ladies.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks.
Bye.
for a ride, you were keeping your pace. You were the chicken setting up, just keeping pace for you. Got a shotgun and a drum and a hammer that's rocking and a chord and a pedal and a lock that is free for now. It better work out. I hope it works out my way. 'Cause it's getting kinda quiet in my city head. It takes a teenage riot to get me out of bed right now. You better roast it. We're gonna shake it up to him. He acts the hero. He came to zero on his hands. Everybody wants to be tied to you. The newspaper's paying for the sunny weather. You're never gonna stop all the